cousin Sanjay Ramesh
Ramesh Krishna.
Krishnan, okay, and Pushpa.
That's not actually mine. That's my mom's name.
Okay.
My
Okay, so
name is my name is
yes,
actually Rishant Dasari.
okay, no problem. I think I'm also having the wrong name here.
Uh,
That's my daughter's name. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
how it got connected to her email address, but maybe that's okay.
That's
And
okay.
yeah,
so we are all set, right?
Yeah.
yep.
So first off, could you give us like a quick introduction of yourself?
Come again. Just speak louder, please.
Oh, sorry. Could you give us like a quick introduction of yourself?
Okay. Well, currently I'm retired last 10 years, and mostly I write books actually, and I published in my retirement around 20 books.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's interesting.
And the next book is coming out in January. Uh, so basically, co- come again? No, no, okay. So basically, I'm mechanical engineer and did all my degrees in mechanical engineering and with this particular focus on heat transfer and fluid mechanics. So I got so much love for these two subjects. I never changed it. I worked mostly in the industry, uh, except for last 10 years before retirement. I was working with Siemens Energy here in Orlando, Florida.
Interesting.
And then I was invited to teach two graduate level courses at University of Central Florida. So I taught two graduate level courses, and I written books on both of them from 2006 to 2016. Actually, that was the last class I taught a graduate class in fluid mechanics with 75 students, and using my own book as the textbook. So that was my greatest uh, uh, thrilling moment, so to speak. Uh, Other than that, I have got in retirement. I have three passions. My first passion is cooking. I enjoy all the Indian cooking. I know every item I can. This thing, some creative cooking and all that. So that keeps my wife happy, as you can imagine. And then writing is my next passion. I write books, and my plan is to write at least two books every year. And you can see all my books on Amazon. And I can, in fact, my last book is is like these are all poems. You can see perhaps sources of
Nice.
unhappiness and this thing. So that's on Amazon. My most famous book is this one.
Ooh,
This is gas turbines.
nice.
This thing we have Cambridge University Press, and this is my first book that was published in 2015. The 600 and second edition of this book is coming out this year. So next year, next January. So everything is complete. Uh, so you can see I'm like basically right now. Also, sometimes I give training, courses sometimes, but I'm not really motivated to work for money at this point. I just want to share my knowledge and experience and keep learning, uh, all the time, because continuous learning is my number one. I mean, is my goal. To keep learning something every day. Uh, and that's about it. I have given a couple of workshops in Turkey, one company, and last year I did that 2019, and no, sorry, 2019 one first one, and I did one last year. Uh, you know, so there's all gas turbine engineers. I think the one that is last year, I had 65 students. I mean, engineers actually working students. So I don't
Jeez.
teach any class at this point. UCF, I write books actually, because that's I thought you can reach out. Two of my books are being translated in Chinese, so that I really am interested more into how many libraries the books are carrying. Those books are in there, so that more people can benefit from that. Okay, was there enough? Short enough? Was it? Or you have any questions?
Yeah, that was good. So
Okay.
the first question I want to ask you is could you like walk us through a typical day, like in your work?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's. I said that I mostly work in industry, and my focus was in the gas turbine industries. I was developing new design methods and tools because you really need computational tools to do the design analysis and things like
Yeah.
that. So one thing which is maybe different from, I mean, say designers will be using those tools to create design, and I will be thinking about how to make those tools more accurate, more efficient, and more user friendly, and and more physics based. To make sure that they follow the laws of physics. So that's what I have done mostly. I think to make things simple is one of my always a greatest motivator. Because to make something simple, because a lot of people in industry keep doing the way they have been doing for a
Yeah.
long time. They say, well, I've been doing it for 50 years, so they don't want to change. And so basically, I can even tell you my starting my first job back in 1971. I graduated my mechanical engineering 71 from IIT Kanpur. So, and when I joined, first job was like developing a liquid rocket engine in India. It was DRDL Hyderabad. And when I joined as this thing, young engineer there, and so I was in the rocket propulsion, liquid rocket propulsion division, and they were analyzing the heat transfer part of the liquid rocket engines, and it was regeneratively cooled. So because if you don't cool them, it will melt, right? So so basically that heat transfer analysis was taking 1 month because think about it, doing all hand calculations using calculators and all. You have not seen the dose. I mean, I did my engineering using slide rules. Not there was no
Yeah.
calculator was not there. you know I did my high school without electricity. So you have to do only the lantern or the lamps were there. So so I said, gosh, how the hell I will do this? It's like 1 month to keep doing calculations, iterations, and all that. So, but I had one skill there. I knew a little bit about computer programming, and I did on IBM 1620 was the smallest computer. Now, all your cell phones are more powerful than that computer. It used to occupy the whole room. So, on quietly on my own, I developed a close to 100 line program in Fortran. That's the only language I have learned, and I got most out of it. And you won't believe it. uh, Within few months, that using that program, I could do the two analysis in 1 day. And within 6 months, I became the top rocket scientist in India because he said
Ooh, that's
he's a
nice.
guy who can do the analysis. Who used to take 1 month, now it's taking half a day. You know,
That's
so
pretty
I think,
impressive.
come again.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that was this is so. What happens first when you company when I'm telling you about myself. First, I go there. I try to understand how they are doing it. You know, so learn the way they are doing it first. You know, and then find out a new way or a simpler way of doing the same task. You can just cannot go there and, oh, I have PhD and I'll just do it this way. That doesn't work. So basically, and I think tell you, I repeated exactly the same thing in US when I joined GE Aircraft Engines in Cincinnati in 1988, and they had a program to do the calculation for rotor cavity in gas turbines and all that, and that used to take a long time and not converging and all that, and that basically program belonged to my boss. He wrote that, so then there's no room for any complaint. Anybody can't complain, So, but I was asked to give using the program to do some calculations for some design support, and lo and behold, I found why the program was not converging. And of course, I had a much better knowledge at the time and did my PhD and everything. And then I rewrote on my own a program that could do the same task in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And here they say, notice, oh, why this guy is getting results so fast and we're struggling with convergence. So they asked me to release my program for the rest of the people. And that program actually eventually all documented, everything was done, and that was named and BJ Cavity. BJ, my first
Oh,
name, BJ Cavity. Even till today, that program is very famous and being used in GE. Think about it. I mean, you. I mean, that task used to take a day or two. Now it can be done in 5 minutes.
yeah,
So I think what happens, there are two kinds of people. One, in the design engineers, they work first and think later. You know, that, oh, I have always stress. Oh, I have something to do. I have this is do that. My approach has been just the opposite. I think a lot, think first and work later. Because if you think, then you can sort out all the problems. This thing, that thing, and then it requires less time to work. You know. So did I answer your question? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was good. Um, so what do you think is that you essentially made the calculations more efficient by programming it?
Yeah, calculation more efficient, more accurate. you know make sure that the all the equations which are being used, they are following the laws of physics.
Yeah,
People. And and I think, and my this thing is documented. And so I always wanted to teach in the university, but then but I couldn't get a job in the beginning in the industry, in the university, because it take a long time. And when I graduated in 1984. So basically, I think what I did, I continued the industry. And there, actually, what I did, the way I started teaching there is develop new things, write reports and all that, and then use seminars to teach everybody. So I was giving a lot of seminars, workshops, and all that. So I became in a way, a virtual professor there, right?
yeah,
And I also collected materials in the meantime. So now I can write books actually. So that's how I captured all the material. So I not knowing, and that was one of my dreams to come to US was to publish a book. You know, and again that's it. But but anyway, that's another story. But anyway, but I did publish one book, and then I just kept publishing. Okay, so what was your question again? Tell me.
So I have like another question. Like, what are some instances in your field that you demonstrate leadership or innovation?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think what happens, see, normally people just do routine things actually.
yeah,
All the engineers, they enjoy doing routinely what they have been doing. Go morning and come in the evening, and this is like, for me, that's the most boring job. That I cannot do a routine job. So what happens? Like people always say, tell me what to do and how to do it. How and what, but
Mm-hmm.
they never ask why you are doing the way you are doing it. Nobody asks that question. In fact, today, people who cannot even answer, even the senior guys, that if you go and this thing and tell a senior guy, tell me why we are doing it, he says, just don't worry about it, just do it, because we have been doing it for the last 50 years. So they discourage. My focus is always why we are doing it this way, because unless you question why, you cannot change. What the next way to do it, right? So innovation actually is the key thing actually, because unless you innovate, and you cannot like go to the next level. Or I think if you the faster you innovate in your job, uh, higher you faster you move in your career. There's a one-to-one relationship. Think about when I first reduced the time actually from 1 month to half day, I became the top rocket scientist, and director was coming to me actually to ask questions. I thought it was,
yeah,
in G actually I became a celebrity in the entire career, and everybody knows me that well. This thing, and I wrote a book on that thing actually, so people can read the book. So basically, now if I just come and just do the calculations, nobody will know me, right? I will become a number. You know, One of the greatest innovation I can tell you. The next time when I moved to power generation in Cincinnati, I was in Cincinnati, aircraft engines, which is now GE Aviation, that developing engines for planes. And so I moved to power generation in '93, where they're developing gas turbines for power generation, not for flying planes. And eventually I went to the department that was a department called steam cool gas turbines. You know, that using steam as a coolant, or because in the combined cycle with the steam generator and gas turbines, combined cycle efficiency was very high at that. They were raised to 60%. So they were using steam in cooling their rotating parts, right? And there was no tool. There was no method. Actually, there was no tool because GE never did that before. And I was the manager of all the tools and methods and this thing in one of that in the department. And my general manager was telling me all the time, he said, BJ, do something about it, because all the engineers are really using Excel sheets and making a lot of mistakes. And there was used to take a lot of time. And so time is one thing, and making errors are another thing, right? I tell you, I mean, I had several, not the sleepless nights. I was kept thinking, and all that. And suddenly I came up. That was my most challenging technical contribution in GE, for example, because I kept on that. Let me see how, by combining the methods and all tools that I have developed back in aircraft engines, how I can design a methodology to do it faster and automate it, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I did that. And then everybody, engineers, were very happy. And in fact, we're making I mean, my general manager was so happy. Just believe it. I just wanted to do my MBA at that time, because I said, let me see what MBA teaches. And uh, and G actually, the RPI at the time was offering executive MBA program with with company sponsorship. You won't believe it. My manager came to my house actually and delivered that signed application. And GE spent $40,000 for my MBA. You know,
It's interesting.
you see, and when I left actually after my MBA, I wanted to. I was feeling guilty that GE spent $40,000 and I'm quitting GE actually, because I had some other plans to this thing. And he said, no, 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 don't worry. $40,000 is nothing what you have done for GE compared to what you have done for GE. That's the kind of reward you expect. See, a lot
Yeah.
of people work, like think about, oh, they're only paying this much, so I only have to do this much work. No, actually, you want to use the work opportunity, or at least I'm telling about myself. I always try to learn a lot. I never care about how much I was paid. When the first job actually I was paying only $400 a month, 400 rupees a month, which is like $5 a month now. Almost like $5 a month. You know, but I was working three shifts actually, because there was so much learning involved. Because see, what you learn at the job is your asset. See, money comes and goes away, right? Because nobody can take away your skills or knowledge. You know, you agree with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always always in my gravitate towards the job that actually it requires a lot of innovation, a lot of creative things you can do, and you can learn a lot. Keep learning, because think about, the company is paying you for learning. Think it that way. Don't think about company is paying you to doing some work. You know, and see how I converted the job into teaching job. And so eventually, when I taught at UCF, and I could teach in a different way in industry, and then I wrote books on those things, right? And that was additional job. It's not like adjunct professor at the industry. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, no, please. Good question. They're very good question. Yeah.
That's very impressive, Mr. Sultanian.
No, no, come again. I think I missed you.
That's very impressive.
No, no, don't worry about it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So when have you experienced a challenge and how did you overcome that challenge?
Come again. Again, repeat that.
So when you like worked, when did you experience like a certain challenge or problem and how did you overcome it?
Okay. I think that's again a very general question. That's a very good question. Not only it happens in workplace or also in life. See, the thing is, see, some people get very disturbed or challenged. See, there are certain things that, uh, when the challenge comes, first thing actually is do not want to, just gather all your energy, take some deep breath, and I think I think the same thing happens for challenge, and sometimes things break down here. I think, you know, the latest in the Milton, actually, our tree almost like got uprooted at 45 degrees. And I looked at it, how to make it straight vertically. Of course, one way is to get it chopped off. It will probably, I still saw. And just two of us actually using the winching tool, we could lift it to 90 degrees. Can you believe that? You know, I spent only $100 investment. So first thing actually is to understand the situation. You know, pull with your full energy, understand what it is, get help if needed. You know, discuss with people the problems. You know, something, go to the right people, and or read a lot of material in that, and see how you can, you know, you can do it with minimum cost, minimum this thing. And I think there is also, look at this, a lot of people get upset because sometimes you fail and all that. No, there is nothing like failure. You know, unless you fail, you can't learn. You know, one of the president of India, Dr. APJ, APJ Kalam, Dr. Kalam actually passed away. He said, fail means first attempt in learning. So I tell my grandkids and all that, I said, no, just you must fail. Because, you know, I mean, my first in my eighth grade, I prepared a manuscript, my first book actually, because that was my second dream, and it was rejected. Like I couldn't publish that. And see, but now actually I just kept on this thing. Never give up. That's the real idea. Because since failure is not a failure, you don't want to give up. You know, my visa to come to this country was rejected twice, but I didn't give up. I found another ways to do this thing, and finally I got the visa to come here. So I think idea is that don't give up. See, a lot of people can just go and commit suicide. That's what a stupid idea. You know, it's like always think about, you know, uh, just think about, okay, take a good assessment, you know, enjoy your life, and think about it in a very positive, constructive way. You know, what failure? I don't, I mean, this challenge actually is an opportunity. Let me tell you, I told you about the challenge that came to steam cooling of
Yeah.
gas turbine parts. See, I converted it opportunity to create a new method. And that method actually became a groundbreaking method that even GE aircraft engine didn't have that, didn't never know, nobody thought about it, you know. And sometimes I write in the books actually to do things so, but nobody thought about it, and it's in the book now, you know. So I always, in fact, I look for challenges, by the way, you know. Nobody, I want people to challenge me actually, you know, because I'm running out of challenges. Because in a routine job, there is no challenge. You know, if you go and this thing, okay, you know what you're going to do, there is no challenge. But you want to go to a job where there are a lot of challenges, because challenges are essentially opportunity for you to make mistakes and recover from that. You know, the first engine that we developed and tested, you know, it just blew up on the test bed. I saw the explosion back in the first job, and you know, I became the in charge of investigating why the engine blew up, and we found out what was the reason that it blew up, and that, and basically there was, and then in fact I wrote my book actually wrote a this thing that you know, program or something, not about the engine, but so that nobody else can make that mistake again. Similarly, so it's like I think the challenges are the key to success in life.
Yeah.
Yep.
I look for
Um,
challenges. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you answered it. So what type of like, so considering like the industry that you work in, what type of like new technologies or like new trends do you think could like help strengthen the industry?
See, I think I can tell you about the gas turbine technology, in the gas
Yeah.
turbine area and technology. See that there are two things that are driving the technology. You know, of course, in computer programming, electronics, the artificial intelligence is the talk of the town. You know, everybody talks about AI, and people are using that. But in gas turbine, I know exactly. So what happens? So basically you are trying to make the gas turbine more efficient. And see, all we've always tried to make things more efficient. So see, already it's very high in terms of efficiency. Then you actually want to reduce the cost, material cost reduction, but or make it so more efficiency. Of course, again, I said that it's not. I mean, to make it more efficient, there are two key drivers. One is that see the temperature of the gas has to be very high, in the flow path. So for that means you have to improve the cooling technology.
Yeah.
The cooling have to be more efficient, because if you don't cool them, all the metals will the parts will melt. You know. So cooling technology, there's a heat transfer. That's where my expertise comes in, and I've written how to improve the cooling cooling technology, how to analyze them better. And then other one is the material. See, maybe high temperature material, developing high temperature materials, that can withstand higher temperatures. So those are the two key drivers. See, in each area there are key drivers that people have to focus on and improve technology. So those are the two key drivers in gas turbine technology: the materials technology and cooling technology. You know. Okay.
Okay.
Next question.
So, like you know how like you created like that program and like you helped all that like the companies. So, what do you think was like your most interesting project or like accomplishment you created or worked on?
I think again, I said that those things in my in those were kind of a journey for me, you know, because see what was see there is a goal or there is a destination, but I think people normally focus on the destination, but that's not the truth. That's so you want to focus on the journey. You want to enjoy the journey,
Yeah.
because once you reach the destination, the question comes, what next, I think the main purpose of my coming to this, I had only two dreams in my life early on: to become an engineer, which I became early on, by graduating and all that. And second one was, you will believe it or not, was just to publish a book, you know, because I was very fascinated by how the books are written, published, and all that. So basically, that was in the back of my mind. So my thought process was, let me go to US, and I came much later. After work in India for 10 years, I came to US, and and of course it has a lot of side benefits of coming to US to do my PhD, join a university, because mostly books are written by professors, right, or teachers. So I said, well, that's a path to. So basically, I'll join university, start teaching, and eventually write a book. That was, but but the God or Almighty had a different plan for me. But I never got a job in university, and then I kept on teaching, and I told you about this thing. So those things which were, those are like the milestones, developing this program, this thing, that thing, blah 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 blah. But eventually, my destination was to publish a book, and it happened after almost 40 years of my dream. You know, and then when I published a book, when you publish one book and it's a good book, you become famous, and then publishers ask you to publish more books, and that's how I ended up keep publishing. So now, then you retire, and then actually retirement is the most challenging thing, because people normally don't know. Most people actually they don't know what to do after retirement. You know, by the way, I think that's probably retirement is something like doesn't come all of a sudden, right? It's like death may come all of a sudden, but not retirement. At this age, so I plan for retirement 10 years ahead, and now actually I enjoy my life publishing. Like yes, fulfill your passions, thing that you're not able to do while you're in an active working life. So now I can it's all I don't have any other boss, right? Just only one boss at home, my wife, right? So then after that, just free, and you do want to do, I do cooking, writing books, and so idea is to enjoy life. It's not so much about uh, this goal or this that goal. All those things is towards enjoying your life, being happy. And one thing which is very very important, I think, beside the physical exercise, people should do mental exercise. You want to keep your mind active, because mind
Yeah.
actually is something that people stop thinking. and writing the books helps me to keep me mentally active. Keep thinking and what I'm going to write. I mean, again, I said that there is a very interesting one actually that I just had a finished interview yesterday that trying to get my profile. There is something called wisdoms. You may go to Google or LinkedIn. It's called Wisdom Circle. There is an organization called Wisdom Circle, and they are trying to in India. They are trying to, and the guy who started this is he graduated from Stanford University. He started something that the people after age 50 and beyond, how to utilize their knowledge and experience for the benefit of the rest of the humanity. Think about, uh, you know, what I'm achieving now is much more powerful. See, what I have achieved in my 10 years of retirement is much more powerful than what I achieved in my 40, 50 years of work life. And think about all the books are with so much of knowledge and experience in it. I has reached almost 100 libraries in the world. So many people are benefiting. Sometimes I run into people and I don't know them, but they say, "Well, I can recognize you. I'm reading your book." I just all of a sudden somewhere, some country, they come this thing. But you see the here actually, since I don't have a motivation for money, uh, then your life totally is different. See, I don't need more money. I need to share joy in giving and sharing and with the rest of the world without having motivation to earn money. You know, in the early age, you can't do that. You know, maybe I gave you a long answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's fine.
if
That's
you had
okay.
a chance, if you had a chance to start over your career, what career path would you choose?
Oh boy, I want looking back actually, and I think looking by the challenge, ups and downs that I had, I think I won't change it even a bit. Actually, everything was almost as if it was all like the with the divine intervention. Somebody really planned my career, and and I think the ultimate thing is when you look back, are you happy or not happy? See, all this we have a right to be happy. We have to enjoy our life, right? When I look back, I totally think about at the age of 75 plus now, I'm stress free, enjoying my life, no pressure, nothing. Why do I need to change anything? I enjoy my engineering, even though my children didn't go for engineering. They are in the medical and law professions and all that. So they have their own this thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed my upbringing, my life journey is so enriching, so powerful, so much to share. Writing my next book actually on my profile, this thing, and the title of the book is going to be, I think, tentatively, "Never Give Up." You know, and showing examples of how I never gave up. You know, uh, so I don't think I will change anything. I wish I had in fact, if I had the technology that we have now, if I had those technologies when I was growing up, you know, my output would have been 10 times more. I mean, think about you can now word process things, you can do things, you can dictate a book actually, literally. You know, at that time there was not even a word processing actually. You can just write everything in hand. You know, and make copies from this. So things have become so fast and efficient, and so so anyway, so that's I won't change a thing.
Yeah.
No
All
regret.
right. Mhm. Yeah, that sounds really good. All right. Well, the last thing is, what advice would you give to someone aspiring to enter your field, considering the present job market?
Yes, I think the job market. See, regardless of the job market, uh, see when I think employees are looking for people who are really passionate about what they want to do. You know, I mean, it comes out through the interview. They can see your passion, and they want so people to come and make a difference in their company. Not just do some routine work and get it off. They would look for, you know Because see, the problem is that if they're paying you 1x, they will expect to get 5x from you. In terms of they have their own way of assessing their benefit. It's not like, okay, they are giving me 1x, so I'll give them 1x only. It's not that. Ne- Never think about it. So I think my advice is that focus on learning, understanding. Learning and understanding is key to success anywhere. So when you join a company, you should always be focusing the maybe work extra time to learn things, how they are doing it, what they are doing it, and not just okay this thing. Question why they are doing it this way. Because if you make a difference in the company in the process and improve the process, doesn't matter even 10% improvement, you will be rewarded in the company, and then you will never let go. Because I mean they look at your see, I never had any fear in my company, never realized that company will fire me. I just left on my own, you know because there's so much of uh, contribution there. They don't want to lose you. No company wants to, because if the company loses good people, then they will. What company is that? Company is nothing but a collection of the team of good people, right? And by the way, only and again I have management experience also. I know. I think probably the only the 5% of the people in the company are top performers, and the company always wants to get rid of the last 10%.
Yeah.
Bottom 10%. They exactly know every time who are the top 10%, who are the bottom 10%. I had the list with me actually in my organization. Who are the top 10? Who are this thing? So when it comes to downsizing the company, they just let that 10% go. Manager may ask me, Bijay, whom are please suggest the names we want to let go. You see my point?
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah.
want to be the bottom 10%. That's the key thing. If you want to maintain job security in any company, because there is no job security per se. If the company totally fails, then of course everybody is let go. But but if you really want to, just like in a class, actually, you want to always get only say 10% getting A grade. You always want to aspire for A grade, right? You know but at least once you aspire for A grade, you maybe get B. That's okay. B plus whatever it okay. But if you just look for, okay, let me just pass this class, just get C, I'm okay. I'm sure that one will get an F eventually, or D, whatever it is. And I have given F and D in my graduate class also. Let me tell you, in my 10 years of teaching at UCF, a graduate class, you know, because the person was not working hard. And also remember, there is nothing like smartness. You know, I have found the people who are very smart. I think the smartness alone doesn't do anything. One has to be hardworking. See, all the people that I have come across and I have associated myself with, they are, I've found them two things actually common in all of them. They are very simple and they are very hardworking. And smartness is just a kind of given. They are smart, of course. No, nobody can question that. But even Einstein actually used to work very hard, you know, and then he made a contribution. So people don't call that guy. This guy is smart. That nobody is. I mean, that's a because once somebody says that he's smart, that fellow stops working hard. You know, and so there's nothing like hard work. And if you are smart at the same time, certainly your productivity will be very high, right? So yes, that's the advice I'm giving you. That be nice to everybody. Be have a be a team player. Don't insult anybody. Be nice. All the good qualities, that civic qualities should be there. On top of it, you want to be strong in your strongest areas. Keep I mean, people say that, oh, focus on your weaknesses and make them a strength. No, I mean, that's okay. But I think most importantly, make your strong area stronger. Keep working on it. Don't focus too much on your weaknesses because that will pull you down. You know, like always focus on the glass is half full, not focus on glass is half empty. So that will help you tremendously. and never get discouraged by any grade you get. You know what? You suppose you repeat the class, but don't allow, because you will learn a lot. Actually, in any failure, you will learn a lot, and you become. But of course, another very important thing actually is that you do not want to learn from your own mistakes always. You want to learn from others' mistakes. That's being smart, so that you don't have to repeat the same mistake. You
Yeah.
know, discuss with people, discuss with your friends. Well, when you did that, what problems you had, and all that, and think a lot before you complete your task. You know, for example, if you want to go someplace, in a simple example I used to give in my this thing, car actually, and you are going from one place A to place B, then you want to first make sure that your car has all the, uh, it has air pressure, it has gas, it has all the, it is in good condition. Not that suddenly on the highway, so, oh God, I've run out of gas. Now let me pull out in next gas station. Or oh, the pressure is not there. So you want to think a lot, have the task you completed in your mind first as a process. Focus on the process, you know, that okay, here is the process, okay, blah, 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 blah. And when I do cooking, I collect everything myself, entire process, and see, in the process of cooking, everything is there. Not suddenly, oh, I don't have this haldi or salt and this and that, run around and all. No. Everything should be there, what ingredients are needed for the cooking, and then you start the cooking process. So similarly, in a project, you first want to complete the project in your mind. Make sure what are the missing data there, what problems you may run into, solve that problem before you run into them. You know, talk to the person that you know the data. Okay, oh, no, when I need, I will get it. No, maybe that fellow when you need it, that fellow is on vacation. Go and get data first. You follow me? So a lot of people are stressed today because they don't think first and work later. They work first and then think later. You know.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for taking the
Right.
time to give us advice.
Thank-
Mhm.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
Most
really appreciate it.
Yeah.
anytime, no problem. It was very enjoyable. Any other question you have?
No,
Um,
that's it.
I did have one more thing to ask you.
Yeah, please.
The name of your book is called Dedications, right?
Dedication.
Hmm.
No, 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 no. Which one book we're talking? The one that I'm going to write?
No, I searched up a book by you.
No, there is no book by dedication. I think. Uh,
No.
I know I've written the last book actually in the poems which are sources of unhappiness.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah, I see you put my name in the Amazon. All books are there. Actually, you can see,
all right.
or Google, any place you put in, all books are there. I don't even know. I just keep doing. I don't care about, you know. I'm not so much about, you know, with a. I don't have any kind of purpose that okay, I'm doing it to become famous or this and that. No, my driver just keep doing it, and uh, uh, and fortunately, every time I do something, it gets published. So I don't. It's more whatever time I'm left with, I just want to keep doing it.
All right.
I don't even care about whether the books are selling, not selling, how much money I'm making, not making. No, those are not my requirement. You know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you
So
for
most
Thank
of
you.
joining.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your